Thanks, everyone, for coming. Opening statement, I'm not pleased with the way that we played. If you look at the game in the entirety, we had a lull of about 8 to maybe even 10 minutes in the first half where we played very poorly and weren't able to score the basketball, and we played at the pace that was dictated by Rhode Island, which was clearly not the pace that we wanted to play at. I challenged our starters at the halftime that we had no offensive rebounds, and they certainly answered that call, finishing with 12 offensive rebounds in the second half. I felt really good about that. And Wummy, who was, I don't want to say completely non-existent in the first half, but didn't play her best game in the first half, ended up with 18 and 11, and a lot of that happened in the second half, so I felt real good about that. But for us to make that jump from being a good program to a very good or great program, we've got to play better for longer stretches of time and not have lulls like that are that significant.
More disturbing that you're having those lulls, or impressive that the team is able oftentimes to kind of respond and dig their way out of that?
It's upsetting to me, and it's something I have to correct, because we can't go 10 minutes against St. Joe's or VCU or someone like that and perform like this. You can go smaller stretches, and there's been times where we've been able to put 35 minutes, 36 minutes together. It's very difficult to play 40 minutes complete and be on your game. Those are the games where you win by 50, like when we beat Moorhead. But to expect 35 minutes, yes. I expect 35 minutes tonight, at least, where we play well. We were executing early in the first half where we were passing the ball, swinging the ball from side to side, getting dribble penetration, and then we got stagnant once we went to our bench and we subbed. And that's on me to a certain degree, where I stayed with the subs a little bit too long maybe. I feel like we should have gone back to our starters a little sooner because, again, we became stagnant where we were holding the ball over our head and just basically standing.
Do you think when we struggled because she was anticipating in the becoming third on the all-time Duquesne scoring list, do you think that's a reason why she might have struggled early on in the first half?
I didn't know anything about that, and I would harbor a guess that Wummy had no idea. Is she now the third all-time leading scorer? Yeah. Oh, that's news to us. I doubt Wummy knows that. If you asked Wummy if she scored 1,000 points, she'd probably be like, I think. Yeah, they really don't look at statistics a whole lot. This is a unique group. I've been around a lot of teams that after a game ends, they want to see a box score. This team really wants to see a W, and that's what they care about. Very few of them really want to see the box score for individual accolades. So we feel pretty good about that. No, I don't think that affected her.
Being that she accomplished that milestone, talk a little bit about what she means to the program and what she means to your team this year.
Well, Wummy is a kid that said yes to us 4 years ago when she could have gone to Michigan, Nebraska. Nebraska was number 3 in the country at that time. Texas, USC, all of those schools offered her. And she trusted in us. And it was a long recruiting process. I spent many nights in Toronto, Canada. Wummy has done nothing but give her best for 4 years. And she's expanded her game. She's much more comfortable on the arc. She has developed into being a leader this year and becoming much more vocal and also taking responsibility for her teammates. And, when she finishes here sometime in late March, Wummy will go down as one of the 3 or 4 best players in school history.
And what did it mean for you to have her as you made the transition from assistant to head coach? How did it make it easier for you, especially losing a couple key seniors?
It meant a whole lot. I mean, when this whole thing happened last year, the kids made it known that they had wanted me to be the head coach, and for that I'll forever be grateful. I can't thank them enough. Having someone who you could say is arguably the best post player in the league on your team when you walk into that situation is a very good thing to have. And we know every time we throw it down to the block, down to that right block, Wumi can is either going to get us 2 points or she's going to get to the free throw line. And, she was a little off from the free throw line early tonight, but she's been shooting free throws at a much higher clip also. So we feel good about that.
I think you mentioned that, like, for instance, leaving the starters on the bench
Mhm.
too long. How much is the transition with you just in terms of managing that in-game stuff and how you?
I really enjoy that, actually.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I've really enjoyed doing as a head coach. But with that being said, I was trying to extend the minutes of some of the kids on our bench to give them a longer leash to see what they could do for us. And in some ways, they did some things that were correct, and they did some good things. Belma Nurkic had 2 or 3 offensive rebounds in the first half. Amadea had 4 points and 3 offensive rebounds in the first half. But with that being said, when you are the sub coming off the bench, your amount of mistakes is not going to. You're not going to have this same leeway. You're not going to have as long a leash as a Reagan Moore or Wumi or Orshi at this point. But that's what I'm trying to develop with them by giving them a longer leash, in that first half. The second half, it was definitely shorter. But that's actually one of the parts I really enjoy. Now, with getting Odie Adishu back and Josie Ann Johnson back, 2 kids that were in the rotation on a regular basis, that makes my job a lot tougher, trying to find minutes for everyone.
And speaking of Odie, this is the first time she dressed this season. Was she had a chance to play today? Was she in the game plan to play today, or not?
She's a kid that's practiced twice, and there's rust there, and when she'll play, I'm not really sure. There was some thoughts about her playing today, especially with Rhode Island playing zone and us not shooting the ball very, very well. And, she's an instant offense off the bench. It's really a game-by-game basis at this point. But I'm hoping by February 1st we have that rust shaken off for her and Josie so that we can go deep into our bench and really get after people by February 1st. That's my end goal. But hopefully it'll be VCU, but realistically probably February 1st.
And VCU, you guys lost them a couple weeks ago. What do you think you guys need to change from that game? What did you guys learn from that game? What do you guys think you need to change for this game?
We got to make free throws and not turn the ball over so much. We had instances there where we just literally threw the ball to them. And, we had uncharacteristic turnovers that were not because of VCU's pressure. And we just missed free throw after free throw there also where we didn't shoot from the line very well. VCU is a team that's going to play a 2-3 zone, much like what we saw here today, and they're never going to come out of it. I can't think of a single possession in the last 2 years where they've played man. They play that 2-3 and they stick with it. We're going to have to limit Parks and limit her touches, or she's going to have to be a volume scorer and take a ton of shots for them. And then, the game will be won on the boards. And I feel real good by the fact that the last 3 games we've actually out-rebounded our opponents, which has not been the case for most of the year.
These 3 road games and then come back and close to pair really teams. Is this an important stretch for you guys, do you think?
Yeah, I think, we are now, what are we, 12-6, 13-6, 5-1. And we get a chance to go and avenge our 1 Atlantic 10 loss at VCU. And it's the only game we have next week, so we can focus solely on VCU. We can get our bodies healthy tomorrow by having a complete day off and mental rest also, and then get back at it on Monday and Tuesday. With that being said, then we have a couple more days off where we can rest our bodies again and then go and play George Mason. And we're going to stay on the road. We're not returning home to Pittsburgh. So we're going to play Mason on Wednesday and then play Richmond on Saturday. And I think there's something to be said to be on the road together, sharing meals, being together, and having really a lot of focus on basketball for that. What is going to be an important streak? If you run the table there, all of a sudden you're 9-1 in the league, and then you get Dayton. And that's always a big rival for us.